Hello everyone and welcome to our weekly analysis. It is Friday, closing of the market, and so I'm going to be covering our weekly charts today. And I am in fact entertaining the idea of a euro short. So that's going to be my big thing that I'm going to talk about today, and let you know exactly what I'm looking for there. All right, before we get into that, let's just take a quick look at our terms and we'll jump right back into the charts. Alright guys, and the terms basically just point out that this is not an investment advising service. It's not to tell you exactly how to use your money. It's just our opinion of the market and not to be taken as an investment advice because we are not registered or qualified by any security regulatory authority or anything else to give investment advice. Okay, just want to be clear on that. Alright guys, so I've been telling you about shorting the euro and how it's a bad idea, and when the euro is this strong, you simply do not want to mess with it. And I still do agree with that sentiment, at least at this point. However, I do think there is a good short opportunity coming up. You know, we're in a pretty decent downward trend here, and this is a great pullback up to our 50% retracement on the Fibonacci. So we have the 50. It does correspond with some levels like you see here, and a few levels in here, and you know, because the 50 is on a weekly chart, it has a lot of power. We broke through this major level, which was a huge level, and now we've come up to the next level. And so typically what's likely to happen in these situations is once you break through the next level, it turns at the higher level and comes right back down to retest this bottom level. And so I think that that has some probability with the euro dollar. And I'm not guaranteeing you by any stretch that we're going to get a hard bounce back down to the 38.2. But I, for one, believe that there's some serious potential. So what I'm going to do actually on the euro dollar is I'm going to look for a pending short. Now, I don't think that the probability to win a short on the euro is there. However, what I always talk about is the profit potential. If you have potential for a profit, it's worth some risk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pending short just barely above this level. I'm still about 80 pips or so away from it. I'm going to put a relatively tight stop loss right up here, and I'm going to put my target back down into our zone here. And so even though I don't think that there's a great probability of winning this trade, I'm okay with that, because what I have here is a trade where I'm shorting at the exact price I want with about 110 pip stop loss and about a 330 pip target with the opportunity to add to the trade. So if it comes up and it does work, it hits my thing and then bounces down and gives me a great short signal, what I'll do is I'll move my stop on the first position to break even, and I'll add an additional position with even a tighter stop to see if this thing will carry down. That way, not only do I have over a 1 to 3, but I may have a 6 to 1 or an 8 to 1 to see if this thing carries all the way down into our major level. So that is what I'm doing on the euro dollar. I'm not by any stretch guaranteeing that we're going to see the reversal here, but I think because of the major levels and the fact that the euro is ready for a pullback, I might as well try to guess it right at a critical level and with a great risk-reward ratio, because in this case, you know, the potential of this thing bouncing back down 350 pips, for me, it's worth the risk. And so even though, you know, I've been advising, hey, don't short the euro. The euro's on a roll. The euro's the strongest currency. You don't want to mess with the euro. Well, I still agree. I still think it's a beast, but we're at a very major level, and there's something to be said for that. And the risk-reward potential is extremely great. And after all, you know, if you look at it on the weekly chart, guess what? We have a downtrend. So for me, the signs are there, the signals are there. It's not for the faint of heart, I guess, to go with a pending order. But I use pretty small risk, and I'm looking to get a pretty nice reward out of it. So I'll take the risk. All right, that's my analysis on the euro dollar. Now, on the pound dollar, things are a little different. As a matter of fact, this might be the ugliest chart I've ever seen. But either way, we are at a critical point. I talked about going long perhaps on this one if I got a great inside signal. I didn't see the exact signal that I wanted, so I didn't go long. Though if any of you went long for my analysis yesterday, should be in decent shape, up a little bit. I'm still thinking that, you know, because the bounce potential is here, kind of like on the euro dollar, it should go to our next major level at least, which is here. So I still think that's a pretty high probability. We'll see how that follows through, but you know, this is a big time level. You know, with all the points that I've tested here. So definitely makes sense to expect a little bit of a bounce. The question, of course, is are we going to get the full bounce? Are we going to get the bounce that breaks through, heads up, maybe retest our trend line here or even our area up at 1630? Are we going to get the full balance? And the answer is, of course, I don't know. The pound is such an ugly pair. I mean, you look at the way it's dropped and ranged and done all these things. There's just there's no consistency in it. There's no way for me to form an expectation. So again, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about yesterday, where you're trading just with reaction type methods. You know, if the market's bouncing, if it's breaking a level, okay, you're jumping on. You're not really mapping out your plan for the pound dollar too much. You know, like a little bit more. Like on the euro dollar, I mapped out my plan a little bit. I saw some potential there. The pound, not so much. There's just not a specific thing that I see as a great possible setup that I'm looking to take advantage of. It's more about waiting and reacting to a good possible opportunity when it provides itself. And so at this point, I just don't see it there. You know, some of the people who are trading, you know, on smaller time frames, as this thing was breaking, this thing was breaking to the downside, might have got an hourly entry, might have been making great trades. For me, I'm not there. I'm not looking at those too much. And so the pound dollar has not provided me a lot of good trades. There was one here, which was a nice little tail bar coming back on the trend line and our support level. This was a good long. But other than that, didn't find a lot of good trade opportunities in the pound. And so unfortunately, it's still a matter of just waiting around for me and hoping for the next good entry. So we'll see when that provides itself. I'm waiting anxiously for the pound to do something more consistent, but as of now, I just do not see it. All right, speaking of ugly charts, we have this odd, and to me, it's still a pretty frustrating pair. You know, on the weekly, it looks a little more consistent. However, we're still trapped in this area. Not a lot of range in the pair, and so it's upsetting because, you know, for a while there, you see these big drops that we had, big jumps, big drops, big jumps, big drops, big jumps, and the odd was just moving. You know, a lot of pace, a lot of pips it was covering, and now we're stuck. You see all these small bars, and then the same thing, pretty small bars. So it's frustrating that there's not these great, you know, huge moves to take advantage of on the odd, where there typically was for a while. And so for me, it's just a matter of waiting and holding on until we get something. Now we are, you know, still in kind of this downtrend pattern that we're seeing here. It's not the greatest moving trend. It's not in a nice consistent channel or anything like that. But we're still in it, and this is a decent bar, you know, with pretty nice bearishness. So if it could, you know, maybe let's see, I guess the level would be here that we're looking to break, depending on how you drop it. If it could break through, start heading back toward one, you know, do something a little more momentum centered, I guess. Like right now, we have all these small bars in it. Goes, you know, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. That's difficult to trade. Even when we're talking about a weekly chart, there's not a lot of consistency in the pair. So as frustrated as I am with the odd, you know, sometimes you get frustrated. You just say, okay, I'm just going to take a trade. Well, I don't think that's wise, and so I'm not going to be taking a trade. But I sure hope that it starts moving, that it gives me a signal, and then I'm able to jump in this odd. Because typically, you know, it has great movement that can be taken advantage of. And so I'm just waiting eagerly for when that appears. Alright, and then here is our monster bullish pair, the euro pound. I still look at it in just amazement as this thing has, you know, I just got to draw just to see because it's pretty incredible. In 3 weeks, the euro pound has covered over 400 pips. The euro pound, typically the slowest moving pair on the board, has covered 400 pips straight up in 3 weeks. What an amazing move. And you know, we've broken through all these major levels, so it hasn't even really slowed down through the major levels. Now, again, this 50 fib here is pretty big. It's also in correspondence, excuse me, the 61.8 fib. It's also in correspondence with this area, so this could be a pretty nice area. You know, eventually, this euro pound is gonna pull back. I'm not saying anytime soon. I mean, it could get up to 91 before it pulls back, but eventually it's gonna get a pullback. If it comes up to here and starts turning, I might look for that short on the euro pound because you know, when the pound starts gaining a little bit of strength here, things could change very suddenly and very quickly, and we could see some pretty epic moves. I mean, it could crash just as fast as it came up. So I don't want to count that out as an opportunity just because the euro is crushing the pound at this time. But for now, it's pretty amazing just to watch it and watch it move. Hopefully, we'll get a pullback, maybe a pullback and an opportunity to go long again. But maybe the better trade is going to be the potential reversal. I'm not a huge, you know, reversal trader, but if it's a weekly pivot point or a weekly resistance area, I say pivot point. I don't actually mean the pivot points. I just mean an area where price could pivot. So I apologize for the confusion there. But a weekly area where price can turn, there's a little more confidence. There's a little more value in that than just trading an hourly reversal or something, in my opinion. So on the weekly reversal opportunities, I would be willing to jump in. Obviously, there have to be more than just a potential reversal, but when that happens, I'll let you know. So the euro pound, there's nothing I can trade with it right now. I can't jump in long. I can't look to short until it shows me something. So I can just watch it and be amazed at the euro just crushing the pound and taking it toward higher highs and higher highs with absolutely no. I mean, for a while here, we're in this nice little trend where it's zigging back and forth, and all of a sudden it decides to go crazy, and now it's straight up in the air. Who knows when we'll get our next pullback? So that's the euro pound. Again, not much analysis. I'm sorry, I can't really give you good analysis. All I can do is talk about how crazy it is. So unfortunately, that's your analysis on the euro pound. And if you thought that was bad analysis, well, this is going to be worse analysis because the U.S. yen, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 weekly bars in a row that are to the bullish side. Incredible, amazing, nothing, I can't even say anything about it. It's just an amazing move. These are the moves that traders, live for. Catching it on the break and catching an 11-week bullish run. That's what it's all about. Unfortunately, I didn't jump on the run all the way down here and catch an 11-week bullish run. But I'm sure someone did, and I'm sure they're ready for retirement because this move is pretty incredible. And again, there's just no analysis I can do. Maybe it'll go farther. Maybe we'll see the most insane reversal of all time. I can't say anything about it other than when it moves and comes into a zone, a buy zone, or starts reversing and looks to be a sell. I'll let you know what I think. But until now, just like the euro pound, just watching it, laughing and thinking, oh my goodness, how much farther can it go? So once again, I'll apologize for just not. There's no analysis I can give you. If I made up something about it, reversing at 93.21, that's all it would be. Just be made up crap to sound smart. I'm not that smart. I have no idea what's going to happen on this US yen. I'm just watching in amazement like everyone else. So that's the analysis, guys. For the weekly, I apologize that I may not have given you tons of great trade setups, but hopefully just taking a step back with me and getting a view of the markets was a beneficial experience for you. And I certainly look forward to seeing you the next trading week. Hopefully we'll get some great opportunities, and I definitely look forward to that. If you guys don't mind, again, as I always ask, tweeting, sharing on Facebook, all that stuff really means a lot. So if you don't mind taking a minute to do that, I'd really appreciate it. All right, everyone, have a great weekend. Have lots of fun, and get ready for a great trading week next week.